Beneath the mottled hue of an alien sky were opalescent clouds twisted over sharp, jagged mountains. The abandoned city of Teller lay in silence. The ruins were a tapestry of age and mystery, structures half buried in sediment, wrapped in vines of luminescent flora that pulsed softly, casting an eerie glow upon the crumbled pavements, once bustling with life. The streets now lay empty, eerily quiet, as if the very fabric of time had concluded that nothing more could happen here. But everything changed with the arrival of the Celestia, a slick silver spacecraft that cut through the atmosphere like a falling star. Its hull reflected the vibrant colors of dusk, and with a subtle hum, it settled among the ruins, its landing thrusters in the ground long untouched. From the safety of the ship's metallic hull, Captain Lyra Voss peered out, her heart racing with excitement. The reports of the ancient city had drawn her and her diverse team of explorers to this desolate planet. A whisper of rumors turning into the promise of discovery. For years Teller had been spoken about in hushed tones, a ghost of a civilization lost to centuries of decay. But in her bones Lyra felt it. This place still thrummed with life. A back water for sure, Dylan Takeda muttered as he joined Lyra, his arms crossed, examining the skyline littered with peculiar architecture. Embedding, we find nothing but dust, and regrets here. Regret is all we might find, Lyra replied, her emerald eyes sparkling with wonder. We're standing on what once was a thriving civilization. Dylan, there could be artifacts or maybe even information that could redefine what we know about their kind. Vocally judicious though he was, Dylan shared Lyra's enthusiasm for the unknown. He wasn't merely a scientist, he was an archaeologist, thrilled at the prospect of unearthing history that might echo through galaxies. The last few years of their friendship had been a series of unrelenting adventures. But despite their banter he sensed an unease hidden within her. Perhaps it was only in the softening of her voice when she spoke of Teller that he noticed it. I hope you're right, he conceded, a smirk creasing the corners of his mouth. Just try not to get swallowed by ghosts. Oh, Dill, Lyra agreed playfully, though her gaze remained fixed on the city, already surveying possible paths for exploration. She had spent sleepless nights planning this expedition, studying ancient texts and star maps to arrive at this very moment. As the rest of the crew began to disembark, the sounds of light banter filled the cabin. Zoe Castor, the team medic and a friend of Lyon's since childhood, moved past them with backpack full of supplies swaying against her lanky figure. Zoe was pragmatic, with hair that always seemed tousled and pockets full of forgotten instruments, completely at home in chaos. Load up on the med kits, Zoe called over her shoulder, her sharp blue eyes brightening in the dim light of the bay. I've got a feeling we might trip over something out here that could require a few more stitch. Is the new? With a soft sigh of amusement, Lyra caught Dylan raising an eyebrow in anticipation. Zoe lived for the thrill of exploration, but her intuition often proved correct. Let's get set up and mapped out before we get carried away, Lyra suggested, her thoughts already tangled in potential discoveries. Elias Any readings. Elias Jet was their tech specialist with short cropped hair and a perpetually focused expression. He flicked through an array of holeless green projections, his fingers deftly maneuvering data streams. He was possessing a wealth of knowledge about drones and AI, but it was his analytical mind that Lyra respected the most. Nothing weird. Yet he replied, tapping swiftly, just the usual energy fluctuations. If anything, it's oddly consistent. It's almost like the runes are asleep, like you think we're about to wake them, Dylan teased. But Lyra sensed the seriousness in Elias' gaze even beneath the jest. Maybe, Elias replied softly with a quick nod. They agreed it was time to step into the ancient world awaiting them. Lyra led her team through gaping maw of the city, the air thick with the scent of unknown things. Vibrant yet decayed, half-sunk structures loomed overhead, elaborate patterns carved into stone facades, whispering tales of long-forgotten lives. As they ventured deeper into Teller reality felt more ethereal, the silence wrapping around them like a shroud. The first hour passed as a whirlwind of exploration. They recorded data, examined the debris of shattered walls, and unlocked the secrets etched in the remnants of what were once grand archways. Lyra's heart beat loudly. She could almost hear voices from a time long gone shimmering among the debris, calling, guiding, this way. Lyra ushered as she spatted a narrow alley that seemed to lead to an open square. The air shimmered with life, an undeniable pulse that reverberated through the chilled atmosphere. As they entered the square, Lyra stopped short. Before them stood a massive structure, its walls lined with ancient hieroglyphs that glowed faintly. A bioluminescent dance sighed. Stepping over the carved image is ornate fountains. At the edges their basins filled with a liquid that shimmered in myriad hues. It's beautiful, Zoe whispered breathlessly, her face alight with wonder. Truly, Lyra agreed, her eyes devouring the sight. There's no record of this in any of the texts. It's almost as if this city just wanted to remain hidden from us. Or hidden from itself, Elias pondered aloud, stepping closer to the engravings. These stories, they could be a warning. Let's hope it's not something like Dylan started, only to be interrupted by a sudden vibration coursing through the ground beneath their feet. Instinctively, Lyra's heart raced, apprehension slicing through her bravado. The vibration was subtle at first, but intensified, thrumming in synchronization with the artifacts around them. The ancient structure, that once seemed merely dormant, began to emit a low hum, resonating through the ruins, awakening something long forgotten. A ripple of energy surged through the square, lifting dust and pollen from the foliage, sending the luminescent plants into a frenzy of vibrant light. For a moment, the world felt impossibly alive, a heart beat echoing just beneath the surface of reality. Oh, this is creeping me out, Zoe gulped, stepping back, her previously delighted expression now tense with uncertainty. What triggered this? Elias exclaimed, already accessing readings from his device again, his fingers flying over the holographic screens. Maybe we should back off, Dylan suggested, his voice taut. But before they could flee, a shadow materialized within the square, a figure emerging from the incandescent glow swirling around the structure. It was tall and slender, almost seeming ethereal, its skin absorbed light, glimmering with an iridescence that mirrored the very essence of the city. Lyra's breath caught in her throat as she felt their vibrational response, as if all perceptions of reality hinged on this moment. The moment hung in the air, an electric tension that encapsulated them all, and in that shared gaze, something shifted. The ancient city was waking from its slumber, and with it, they could sense the threads of fate beginning to weave themselves. In the silence that followed, they collectively held their breath, each heart beat since to the presence that pulsed with the promise of tales unsung and destinies yet fulfilled. Unbeknownst to them all, this encounter would lead them on a journey through revelations, transformations untold, and mysteries entwined with the essence of the universe. And yet, the adventure had only just begun as the figure stepped into the dim light of the ancient square. The air thickened with an unexplainable tension that settled heavily over the hearts of Lyra and her crew. The ethereal being moved gracefully, its long limbs accentuating each motion, as if the very air, heavy with anticipation, swayed to its rhythm. Glimmering orbs of light circled the figure, pulsing with deep colors that mirrored the emotions that danced within the group. Fear mingled with curiosity as they took it all in, cautiously yet captivated. Are we supposed to be scared? Zoe whispered, although her wide eyes sparkled with wonder. It might be the response we've trained ourselves for, Lyra replied, trying to maintain her calm. But remember, this is a civilization's memory long for. Perhaps they come in peace. Dylan stepped forward, matching the being's grace with a tentative, if yet inquisitive stride. We mean you no harm. We're explorers seeking to understand, he said, his voice steadying against the rising hum that resonated through the square. At his words, the being paused, tilting its head, a motion that revealed a luminescent cascade of colors dancing across its skin. There was something ancient yet profoundly curious behind its deep-set eyes, something that hinted at understanding and emotion that transcended worlds. Lyra marveled at the realization this being was no mere specter of the past but a guardian perhaps of the city they stood within tentatively. The glowing orbs shifted closer to the team, swirling like gentle whispers caught on a breeze. Lyra felt the warmth of the presence brush against her skin, an invitation rather than a threat. With a gentle instinctive pull, she took a brave step forward, her heart racing despite the fear that had gripped her. Moments before, "Who are you?" she asked softly, her voice threading through the silence as if weaving a deeper connection with the entity. What happened here?" The being paused, absorbing the question like sunlight int a bloom. As it focused on Lyra, a wave of emotion rippled through her core. Their gaze is locked, transcending barriers of language and culture. She felt a profound, aching sadness washing over her like a tide, a weight carried for centuries across the chasms of forgotten time. Then, as if responding to her grief, the figure raised a slender hand, and a stream of light flowed from its fingers. Image is flickered in the air like stars, awakening a vibrant tapestry unfolded before them, depicting scenes of what had once been families intertwined, flourishing gardens on roof tops, laughter echoing in the square's, children dancing under cobalt skies. And then the imagery shift, darkness creeping in, shadows swallowing the joyful memories. Lyra focused intently on the image. It was as if the very essence of the city's history washed over her, each moment stitching her heart to theirs, a tapestry of shared existence told in flitting seconds. Why did it come to this? She breathed. Before she could dwell further, a rush of images cascaded down like rain upon parched earth, a chaotic blend of conflict, sorrow, and loss built like a storm threatening to break. The being's posture shifted, an echo of the sorrow coursing within it, as it displayed fragments of its world succumbing to a cataclysmic change. They saw citizens turning against one another, paranoia festering like wildfire, technology that once promised unity spiraled into division, a fracture that splintered relationships and dismantled the community. The images bled into a heart breaking to blow as people abandoned their homes, understanding lost to fear. The desolate city before them was once a cradle of kindness, and now it lay battered by shadows of its former glory. An unyielding weight filled Lyra's chest, resonating with empathy. So sorry," she finally whispered, breaking the silence among her crew. "We didn't know this city was meant to be a memory of joy." Yet the being shifted again, and for a moment there was a flicker of hope weaving through the sorrow, a glimpse of hands tangled in unity, barriers melting away, and viral laughter echoing once more amidst the ruins. "It is not too late," Elias spoke up quietly, his fascination deepening into a compassion. "It resolved. This place still holds stories waiting to be embraced. We can help, can't we?" Lyra caught his gaze, the spark of courage igniting in both their hearts. "We can be the bridge," she announced, the energy building around them. "We can help share your history with those beyond these walls. We could bring back understanding." With each word, the colors of the Guardian brightened and swirled, swirling intricate patterns that mingled with their sorrow, a dance of connection, a celebration of a profound understanding. As excitement brewed, a small laugh escaped Zoe, breaking the stillness to fill it with light. "Can you imagine an exhibit of lost civilization against the backdrop of Nebula Prime? We could captivate the hearts of millions." A playful smile rejoined Zoe's solemn face, her laughter echoing, resilient even in the depths of history's pain. Her tenacity was contagious. It sparked a lightness that permeated the grip. In Interstellar Symposium, Dylan chimed in, aligning the pieces of their concept. "We could bring artists, historians, and healers, a gathering to learn and share, to ensure the legacy of Teller is nerd rather than lost." Lyra felt warmth creep through her, their joy mingling with the potential before them. She steadied her focus back to the being, the weight of sorrow finally waning, a connection drawn tighter through shared purpose. "We could help build hope, love, and understanding again, not just for but for all who seek refuge in kindness and community. The being did slowly, and with that simple gesture a beam of light erupted from its core, a radiant tendril that wrapped around them all, lifting them with collective energy, blooming with vibrant hues. Each of the crew members felt that warmth, a recognition of shared intent, and a commitment to move forward together. A band intertwined, laughter catching in the air as they joined hands, their hearts beating in unison with that of Teller, a mosaic of connection growing in the moment as they stood together, startled by how quick despair could turn to hope. Lyra felt a familiar ache bubble within her, an emerging thought that unfurled like a flower blossoming in spring. This was not solely about unearthing relics. This was about rekindling the connections that spanned time, generations, and galaxies alike. Yet, even as they shared their dreams, a shadow lurked at the edges of their discovery. The echoes of the memories they had witnessed anchored a weighty reminder. The being's story was not complete, and they had yet to unveil the full gravity of its sorrow. A tremor rippled through the ground once more, a reminder of lingering uncertainty, as if it, too, was eager to stir. Lyra observed the way the Guardian's light wavered, blinking slightly in he before enveloping them again, a sign that their connection with Teller meant more than they'd ever known. It was time to delve deeper, to explore the very fabric of the city and uncover what had been lost together. They started the journey deeper within Teller, the promise of revitalization warming their spirits, while the shadows of the past lingered just below the surface. The alliance they had formed with the being brought them closer, not just to its ancient history, but to one another as well. It became clear that their actions could ignite renewal against the chaotic fragments that existed, a quest beyond exploration, one of service, of unity as they roamed through the ruins, strengthening their emotional bands amidst laughter. Moments of kindness sprinkled through their path. Zoe picked blooms of wild fluorescent flora, adorning their environment with makeshift hand-gathered wreaths, while they crafted makeshift bowls to collect the light from the building's faded walls, harnessing fragments of history to share with the universe. Time blurred as day surrendered to dusk, the runes reflecting the myriad colors they woven within the ancient architecture, whispered, echoing laughter and strength long forgotten. And yet, amidst the joy sparked by kindred spirits, the heaviness of the past lingered, an unseen tension on the periphery, unseen dangers threatening to disrupt their budding sense of community. You feel it? Dylan asked as they stopped for a moment at an ancient outcrop overlooking the growing canvas of restored memories. Even as darkness set in, something is building. Lyra answered, her brow furrowed as she closed her eyes, tuning herself to the very essence of the land. We may have awakened something that was meant to remain dormant, something restless. How long can we remain? Elias mused, scanning their surroundings for a hint of what they might face. It feels like time is swirling around us, like we are stirring up old energies. Then we must be strong, Zio declared, an edge of determination brightening her eyes. We must repair what was broken together. Emboldened by the bond that had grown, they gathered closely, pouring their hopes and fears into one another's spirits. Contemplations lingering on the horizon of their shared journey. I will reach out to the beings of Teller. The Guardian spoke, its voice a harbinger of calm, to bring forth the secrets that lie hidden. There is still much to understand, and if danger lingers, it may require your aid. As the air shifted, they could hear the faintest whispers, a chorus entwined, trusting them to sustain the unraveling fabric of reality, a beacon shining through stormy skies. They would need to forge ahead to balance the known and unknown against the darkening tendrils lurking within the evening's shadows. Because that was the nature of light, it brought warmth and beauty amidst struggle. It illuminated the path they had set for themselves, a way forward illuminated through restored connections and beginnings. With a deep breath, Lyra took the final step into the promise of tomorrow. Surrounded by friends, would become family under the watchful eyes of a city that only wished to be remembered. Hope and love beat within the heart of this moment, and their intertwined fates now lay on the precipice of something wondrous or threatening. Their bonds would be tested, but together, they resonated with the rhythm of a collective heart, and as the night unfurled above them unburdened by time, it became clear to Lyra this journey was only beginning. The challenge ahead was inevitable and terrifying, yet beneath the uncertainty there blossomed an unquenchable hope, reminding them all that no one was truly lost when there were hands ready to reach out, and in that soft moment, with unity tightening their hearts' fate held its breath, they stepped together into what lay ahead, a journey where love, courage, and resilience awaited, echoing deeper connections that intertwined them all within the legacy of Teller. The air grew heavy with anticipation as the gentle hum of the Guardian reverberated around the ancient square. Lyra's heart raced in sync with the pulsing lights illuminating the ancient walls of Teller. Despite the overwhelming weight of thousands of years of sorrow cradling the city, it blossomed among the team and their new found ally. The palpable connection forged through the echoes of grief and hope lingered in their hearts, encouraging them to press forward. They were no longer mere explorers, they were custodians of a legacy that sought to awaken. Together, the crew and the Guardian began to explore the deeper recesses of Teller, each step taken within the labyrinth. Theme paths unveiled more fragments of history, each stone a testament to joy, meant resilience and loss. Lyra led the team to various crumbling structures, her steps echoing like a metronome matching the found rhythm of restoration they had begun. In one such building, an ancient council chamber stood proud, its arching ceilings lined with star maps carved in shimmering turquoise stone. Elias marveled at the artistry as he ran his fingers along the intricate designs. It's like a chronicle of their understanding of the cosmos, he whispered in awe. Look at how they mapped every world, each line imbued with energy, voices from the past. We can still hear the voices, Lyra murmured. Her eyes glinting, she envisioned the tales contained within the stone, and the power they held if shared. These stories can change everything. With that aspiration nestled in the collective consciousness of the group, they set to work. They crafted a plan of revitalization, transformation that would bridge Teller's ancient wisdom to inhabitants of distant worlds. Elias and Zoe studied and documented, while Dylan began creating holographic reconstructions of the site's former splendor. They envisioned structures rebuilt not simply as architecture, but as living embodiments of kindness and community spirit. As days turned into nights and then back into days, the crew forged deeper connections with one another, sharing their fears, laughter, and visions over meals crafted from forged flora, enriched with telepathic whispers of the Guardian. It became their nightly ritual, the sharing of dreams flickering like stars within their small enclave. Never had the city felt so alive. They watched as the luminescent vines twisted higher on the walls, returning color and vibrancy to the once dull stone. It was almost as if Teller was breathing again, the very atmosphere imbued with you'd hope. A few weeks passed since Thide arrived in Teller, the initial trepidation waning, laced with an awakening that permeated their being. The days felt harmonious, yet the shadow of the Citus past still lingered at the edges, waiting for release. One evening, Lyra gathered everyone beneath the starry sky, the frequency of the Guardian's glow radiating warmth around them. Weave him, urged from sorrow, and ignited the spark of healing. She began, her voice steady but full of emotion. But we cannot forget why we are here. She looked around at the expectant face. Is Dylan, Zoe, and Elias. They were no longer just team mates but family, woven together by threads pulled from the past. We need to honor the struggles of those who came before us. We owe it to the city they loved and lost. A silence wrapped around them as she continued. Today, I propose we hold a gathering, a festival of remembrance and hope, where stories can flow between worlds, where our knowledge and theirs can intertwine. Zoe's sudden laughter surprised them all, a full-fledged celebration. Just imagine it, music, laughter, food. We can share the stories we've unearthed, show the galaxy that Teller is not just a graveyard, it's alive with potential. not just a festival eel. I said with a soft nod, a diplomacy platform. Think about it. Artists, scholars, and healers from every corner of the universe would come together. This place can breathe. Purpose again, a lesson for all civilizations. There was an undeniable spark igniting hope. That enveloped them. They turned tentative excitement into plans, mapping out details, each new revelation fueling their energy for the vision ahead. They spent countless hours revitalizing the ancient square, repairing the fountains and crafting makeshift stage. Is that wood cradle future performance is through. Out the preparations, the Guardian participated enthusiastically, teaching the group how to utilize the living energy of the flora to channel emotion into the very air, creating immersive experience, is using light and sound that would astonish all who arrived. As the eve of the gathering approached, a certain tension thrummed in the runes. They understood that shadows were not easily dispelled. Finally, the day of the grand Unity festival arrived, gathered beneath a radiant sky that seemed to illuminate their intentions. A mosaic of cultures and histories converged. The air was electric, filled with laughter, and the scent of exotic foods mingled with the fragrance is of vibrant blooms. Visiting scholars from cosmos-spanning civilizations. Diverse array arrived in ships that colored the sky, each bearing rich cultures eager to share. Artists who painted communities reflected through their brush strokes, dancers whose movements captured cosmic rhythms, and musicians whose notes harmonized with the soft whispers of the runes. As the guests intermingled, the ancient square transformed into a vibrant marketplace of culture, emotion. Lyra's heart soared, the humanity of it all wrapped around her like a warm cocoon. She spotted a young girl entering it by fear or sorrow, playing joyfully with the luminous vines, giggling as her family observed with delight. The laughter blended seamlessly with the melodies weaving through the night, and she found her gaze searching for the Guardian in the alcove of the ancient council chamber. The ethereal figure had taken a form reminiscent of its original shape. Its light pulsed in time with the celebrations, the connection palpable in the air around them. Lyra moved toward the figure, and while its beauty was mesmerizing, she felt its burden too. Have you felt it? She asked softly, concern lacing her voice. Yes, dear one, it replied, its voice resonating deep within her consciousness. History flows through this gathering, a river of stories weaved together. Some still ache for healing. It gestured, drawing Lyra's attention to those lingering on the edges of the festivity. Face is shadowed with memories hidden behind laughter. The Guardian continued, as much as we celebrate, we must still acknowledge the past, the connection, a web of anguish yet vibrancy waiting to be cooked. In warmth, Lyra understood, and while the festival thrummed with exuberance, there was still room for kindness and healing. A thought planted itself in her mind, prompting her to take gentle action with purpose. Lyra rounded up Dylan, Zoe, and Elias. We need to honor those still waiting for your voices to awaken. The shadows must join the celebration. As they moved back to the heart of the square, they began calling forth individuals whose expressions were reflective, beckoning them to share their stories. Each tale recounted ignited and expanded like a fire, transcending language and space. Illuminating face is once marred by tight-lipped silence. Tears flowed alongside laughter. Stories skipping together to reveal powerful truths about loss, love, resilience, and the enduring essence of kindness. Overwhelmed at the collective outpouring, Lyra found herself enveloped in understanding. It became a ceremony of connection, where grief lost its grip against the brightness of shared experiences. As the night peaked, a hush fell over the crowd. Lyra stepped forward, her voice steady. Thank you all for sharing your tales today. Each experience has shaped who we are. Our struggles have not weakened us, but molded us in champions of connection. In this celebration, we transcend borders, and we all become a tapestry of light, woven from the threads of histories and dreams. The crowd erupted as she stepped back, like waves crashing against the shore, a chorus of affirmation. The evening unraveled like a brilliant song, the laughter of children, the melodies of musicians, and winning int. A beautiful of healing energy in the radiating warmth of any hardship trans. Mute int. A colorful cascade of love, they felt it. The Guardian's glow intensified around them, mirroring the tapestry unfolding in the square. They had breathed life back int. Teller reviving its spirit, yet a shadow lingered at back of Lyra's mind, an unsettling awareness that the lingering sorrow had not truly been vanquished. The opening ceremony, although impactful, lacked resolution for those still mourning the scars of conflict. Tonight, as we celebrate, I ask you to look inside yourselves. A voice interrupted her thoughts. It was the Guardian, glowing warmly. The end of mourning does not mean forgetfulness. The soul seeks not only to absorb happiness but to honor pain. Let this festival persist. Gather every night until the dawn settles on new chapters together. Well, weave our new tales with understanding. As the moon hung high above, silver threads of light glistening in unison with the sparks igniting the festival. You'd hope surged within them. They vowed to return to this sacred square every evening, allowing others to share their experiences until whole communities were stitched together in the fabric of love and kinship. As the night drew to a close, the team and their festival attendees marveled at the colors reflecting in the brimming fountains, every ripple encapsulating the growth they experienced. With each friendly face surrounding them, Lyra understood they had transformed Teller from a resting place into a sanctuary, one filled with laughter, dreams, and the gentling hand of kindness. In the weeks that followed, Teller became a beacon of cultural exchange and a testament of resilience in the rhythm of life, attracting ever-passionate pilgrims longing to unearth lost stories. The festival thrived as friendliness wove into the hearts of visitors. The tale of Teller spread across the stars, reigniting a sense of unity among civilizations once estranged. Lyra often found herself at the heart of it, all becoming the bridge between light and shadow, leader and learner alike. But she knew her journey was grounded in those who stood beside her: Dylan, Zoe, Elias, who transformed her dreams into actualized realities. In one quiet moment, amidst the animated celebration, she stood gazing across the illuminated square, the echoes of shared laughter and stories blending into a soft lullaby. We did this together, she whispered. Of course, Dylan interjected, bumping her shoulder lightly with a smile. And there's still more to do. This is only the beginning. With the full weight of her heart flooding with warmth, wrap Lyra's arms around her friends in a reassuring embrace. They had come to Teller searching for artifacts, but had instead unearthed the beauty of connection and embarking evolution through their kindness that breathed new life into a forgotten city. As the stars twinkled brightly above, illuminating their world and cascading magical reflections across the fountains, they knew the tales of Teller would never be buried again. It was truly alive now, echoing through space, a testament of compassion that would vibrate from one heart to another, kindling courage and love. Secure, as their laughter formed an unforgettable constellation of hope that inspired all to come, woven through the threads of their band.